Welcome to the Experience Annex Podcast, episode number 42. The title of the episode is How to Win as an Entrepreneur and Acquire Wealth and Power. In this podcast, I share with you the traits, mindsets, thinking habits, actions you need to have and take to position you to win as an entrepreneur, and in the process acquire wealth and power, which are the byproducts of entrepreneurship. Life is full of experiences, and it's good you learn from the experience of others. I'm Paul Uduk. My students call me the coach. You can call me Mr. Unstoppable. I'm the creator of Book Writing Clinic and Book Writers Club and Internet Business Mastery course, IBMC, where I show friends like you how to convert ideas into intellectual properties, build an empire, and scale online. I'm also the creator of Okna, a Facebook group, online course creators community for newbies and advanced beginners, with over 13,500 members from all over the world. If you Google entrepreneurship, you'll get 640 million hits in 0.79 seconds. However, if you Google sex, you'll get 3.55 billion hits in 0.61 seconds. Try leadership, and you'll get 2.46 billion in 0.90 seconds. So, as you can see, entrepreneurship is not very popular. That's why you have so many poor people on planet Earth. And I don't want you to be one of those. So listen and listen closely. If 10% of the human population took to entrepreneurship with gusto, as Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, Jack Ma, Aliko Dangote, Tune Lumelo, and Henry Ford, Sam Walton, Masaru Ibuka, and John H. Johnson before them, the world would be awash with wealth and abundance. Not to forget Uber entrepreneur like Richard Branson, who make entrepreneurship fun. If you agree with me, then how to win as an entrepreneur and acquire wealth and power is for you. According to Wikipedia, entrepreneurship is the process of designing, launching, and running a business, which is often initially a small business. The people who create these businesses are called entrepreneurs. The 18th century French economists Jean-Baptiste Say, who first coined the word entrepreneur in about 1800, said, "The entrepreneur shifts economic resources out of an area of lower and into an area of higher productivity and greater yield." The difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur. From Jean-Baptiste Say's definition, if you want to become an entrepreneur, you must be ready to add massive value to the world and keep innovating and creating the world, and the world will reward you. The economic resources talks about could be a product like Xbox, a service like Netflix, or experience like Disney. Adding massive value is the key to being an entrepreneur. The entrepreneurs who transform industries, impact lives, and who we view with admiration, awe, and envy are noted for innovation and creativity. Unlike an entrepreneur, a business person or a business owner, as the Uber coach and founder of Strategic Coach Dan Sullivan says, is someone who's no more longer operating from a place of creativity. They likely produce something of value early on in their career, but instead of committing themselves to continuous growth, they're riding the profit of their early successes. Whether or not the decision was made consciously, once someone has chosen to no longer create or grow, they've ceased to be an entrepreneur. And I fully concur. So, if you own a corner shop, a computer repair business, or a taxi business, or even a big supermarket, you are a business owner. The business depends solely on you. You cannot scale, you cannot grow, you are stuck with the business. As the Wikipedia definition says, the business is often initially a small business. So you remain small. To make the leap from an inventor and founder to an entrepreneur, you must be willing to put structures in place, scale, and continue pushing to defy gravity, to move to the entrepreneurial phase. How to become an entrepreneur? Silicon Valley is the hotbed of entrepreneurism, or simply entrepreneurship. So also is Shenzhen in China. But entrepreneurs abound everywhere if you look closely. Just look at Computer Village here, right here in Lagos. Or Aspanda. There's so many. Names such as Jim Ovia, Zenith Bank, Tony Elumedu, Has Holdings Nigeria, Jack Ma, Alibaba China, Tony Share, Zappos US, Dr. Ernest Zudialu BJC, Nest Oil Nigeria, Oprah Winfrey, Oprah USA, Richard Branson, Virgin UK, to mention just 7. These are household names. However, there are also lesser mortals, too numerous to mention. The advent of the internet has spawned more entrepreneurs than in any other time in all of human history. One of the world's most iconic entrepreneurs is the late, or should I say the worst, the late Steve Jobs. His life's trajectory stirs awe. His creative ingenuity within the short time frame from 1997 when he returned to Apple to 2011 when he exited is yet to be fully matched. One of Steve Jobs' most known traits, and which is shared by all entrepreneurs bar none, is the unyielding belief in the righteousness or in the rightness of their vision. In their mind's eye, they see a future no one else sees. With a glint in their eyes, the real entrepreneur wants to bend every other person to his or her will to join the journey to where they are headed. Critics describe them as mercurial, unyielding, and sometimes tyrannical. The vision could be end world hunger, computer for the rest of us, computer on every desk, or no child left behind. Peter Diamandis of X-Prize fame challenges all would-be entrepreneurs to be bold. That's what he wrote in his book by the title Bold. Peter says, if you want to be a billionaire, you must find a way to impact 1 billion people. It's as simple as that. To do that, you must be guided by a massively transformative purpose. So thinking big is indispensable. And being take that again. So thinking big is indispensable to being an entrepreneur that makes things happen at a scale that changes society and sets new standards. The world's best schools like Harvard, Oxford, Wharton, and Stanford, to mention just four, have in their business curriculum courses on entrepreneurship, managing the family business, and the like. Locally here in Nigeria, Lagos Business School has an entrepreneurial program. What they actually teach in very simple terms is how to manage a business. As you can see, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Tony Lumelu, Jack Ma, Tony Hsieh, and the list goes on, did not attend Harvard to learn entrepreneurship. Bill Gates even left Harvard to go and found Microsoft. When Frederick W. Smith submitted his business idea of founding FedEx, his professor scored him C, ABC, meaning average, I believe, and wondered how Smith would compete with U.S. Postal Service that had 100% market share and was a government-supported monopoly. The professor forgot about trends. When Gordon Boker, Jerry Baldwin, and Seth Ziegler came up with the idea of Starbucks, their detractors thought they were nuts. But of course, Howard Schultz knew better. Today, FedEx and Starbucks market capitalization are more than 40 billion and 98 billion respectively. Most of the time, professors are like investment bankers. They believe in facts and figures and numbers. Gordon Boker, the co-founder of Starbucks, related this story to the Seattle Times. When we were starting Red Hook, the second person I told about Red Hook was an investment banker. We wanted his advice on starting a small brewery. He said, "Start a brewery? Ha ha ha! Breweries don't start up, they shut down." As soon as he said that, I thought it's a sure thing. Real entrepreneurs avoid investment bankers and professors because they know what matters in entrepreneurship is a burning idea. As they say, motivation is when you get hold of an idea. Inspiration is when an idea gets hold of you. Let's summarize at this point how to become an entrepreneur. If you have an idea of your own, yet don't worry. Let's take that again. Let's summarize at this point how to become an entrepreneur. If you have no idea of your own yet, don't worry. Noting that Ray Kroc didn't discover McDonald's until about the age of 59. Entrepreneurship is about creativity. Remember, the entrepreneur shifts economic resources out of an area of lower and into an area of higher productivity and greater yield. It could be a product, a service, or experience. Dan Sullivan, the Uber coach, has a simple question in his book, the Dan Sullivan question. Ask it and transform anyone's future. That's the title of the book. Ask yourself this question, and it will guide you to entrepreneurship. If we were having this discussion 3 years from today, and you were looking back over those 3 years, what has to have happened in your life, both personally and professionally, for you to feel happy with your progress? Entrepreneurship, I must say, begins in the mind. You bring what you see in your mind's eye to life, birthing the idea. It's not about you, it's about the idea. Every other thing, capital, strategy, scaling, management, leadership, come later. The first thing you need is a winning idea. How to sustain your entrepreneurial mindset. Beginning a business is one thing. Sustaining the entrepreneurial mindset is another. For every Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Netflix, Nintendo, Rakuten, 100 other startups and companies fall by the wayside. Get hold of the book Winners and Losers by Kieran Lewis to explore the subject further. When you are starting a business, you are going to operate as the cleaner, mail boy, MD, CEO, and founder, all rolled into one. The book E-Myth Revisited talks about this. E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Nkechi Obi, the co-founder of Techno Oil, talks about that experience when she appeared on Experience Annex. Jeff Bezos does not tire in telling or sharing when Amazon was starting out, he used to fall on his knees in their mail sorting facility to sort mails and drive them to the post office. You must maintain the spirit of entrepreneurship. Otherwise, you will not last the distance. Both Peter Drucker and Joseph Schumpeter have said that returning the spirit of entrepreneurship is accomplished primarily by defying tradition, challenging orthodoxy, breaking up the old, selecting niches, and recognizing that bureaucracy and success are irreconcilable. That's why for Jeff Bezos, it's always the one. I talked about total quality management as a business philosophy some time ago. You can search for that article, Total Quality Management as a Business Philosophy, where I expanded on what we are talking about right now. So how do you remain entrepreneurial? For starters, masterclass.com recommends you to do the following. Set clear goals. Practice being decisive. Redefine failure. Face your fears and remain curious. And entrepreneurial.com recommends these 8 mindset shifts. The mindset to live with intention. Own your power. Focus on quality over quantity. Give value to others and stop being self-centered. Understand your worth. Think and act big. See failure as a necessary step towards success. Focus on your why. It's appropriate to conclude this section with advice from Hiroshi Mikitani. He is someone who has seen it and done it. His brief profile on Wikipedia says he is a Japanese billionaire, businessman, and writer. He's the founder and chairman, and he is a founder, chairman, and CEO of Rakuten Incorporated. He is also the president of Crimson Group, chairman of the football club Vessel Kobe, chairman of Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra, and a board member of Lyft. He is worth 5.7 billion. Hiroshi shared the idea below with the World Economic Forum as captured at wforum.org, weforum.org. Here are his 3 key points. Manage for it. At Rakuten, we created tools that encourage entrepreneurial behavior. We want all employees to deliver value to the company. This can be done in many ways. Identifying new merchants and categories for Rakuten Ichiba. Finding new technologies or companies we can invest in, or proposing ways the company can be more efficient, even by changing light bulbs to save on energy costs. So, our assessment looked closely at results. People who are not creative or who are not creating real value for the company may not have a future. Talk about it. I talk about getting back to venture all the time. Back to venture all the time. It's the subject of my weekly address to the company. It comes up in meetings. It's a topic of my speeches. I stop employees when walking through the halls or during lunch break or during lunch and ask them what they are doing and what they are seeing that's new. How can we innovate? How can we maintain the startup feel at Rakuten? It's amazing how employees are unafraid to share their ideas. A brief stop to share a little bit about myself. Hi, I'm Paul Uduk. After over 25 years in the banking industry, I said goodbye to banking and founded the Vision and Talent Training Group and began a new career as a training consultant towards the end of 2010. Today, we work with some of Nigeria's biggest financial institutions, manufacturing and oil and gas companies, some of them Fortune 500. In 2015, I founded Book Writing Clinic to help aspiring authors tell the world their stories and make their dreams of becoming published authors a reality. In 2020, I founded IBMC, Internet Business Mastery course, where I teach business people and aspiring online entrepreneurs how to set up their online businesses the right way. Altogether, over 700 candidates have registered for BWC and IBMC. It's now your turn. I'm inviting you. Go to my website, pauluduk.com, and register. IBMC 12 is coming up on July 13th this year. Back to the episode. Elon Musk is regarded as one of the most creative human beings alive today, and he has a string of wins such as Zip2, PayPal, Tesla Motors, SpaceX, The Boring Company, OpenAI, Neuralink to show for it. He must have divested from all these companies, but he was the co-founder of almost all of them. He is 48. When I wrote this, he was 48. And it's worth over $100 billion. He has an above average IQ of 155. To put that within context, Albert Einstein had IQ of 160 and William James Sidis an IQ of between 250 and 300. Theoretically, the highest IQ one can get is 200. So what makes Elon so superhuman? According to IQtest.net, these 7 abilities make Elon Musk successful: logical reasoning, verbal intelligence, working memory and task switching, filtering, speech, and Elon Musk IQ, motivation and work ethic, anxiety, fear, emotional balance, and openness to new experiences. You can read about that in Elon Musk IQ. Just type Elon Musk IQ and something will come up. If Elon Musk IQ, that is intelligence quotient, is just a little above average, what makes Elon so productive? Elon Musk's secret is mental modeling. If you want to exponentially boost your decision-making capacity, learn how to use mental models, and you are going to take your entrepreneurial mindset to another level. If you want to read more about mental models, search out Julian Shapiro. He has a great article. Just search Julian Shapiro and you get it. Positioning for wealth. So much has been written about wealth in the era of the internet. I doubt another podcast is necessary. On it is necessary, but all the same. I've written about it in my ultimate guide to building a perpetual online money-making machine and being humble about it. This is what I said in that blog post. The internet era has produced more millionaires than all other eras in human history combined. Today, there are 2,095 billionaires and 46.8 million millionaires, compared to 1982 when Forbes started to publish its list of the richest people. That list had just 400 people. And the richest man was Daniel Keith Ludwig with an estimated net worth of $2 billion. Positioning for wealth means you do what millionaires do. There is no need to reinvent the wheel. Having nailed your idea and the marketplace has confirmed yours is a winner, move rapidly to scale. Don't forget to be a billionaire, impact 1 billion people. The irony of it all is that the biggest billionaires didn't set out to become billionaire from day one. They just had a winning business idea and the marketplace rewarded them beyond measure. All the new ideas you see today started as a creative spark in someone's head by asking a simple question. What if? Why? Why not? Sometimes it was simply looking for something that was not there and asking, why not? Remember, the key is noting trends and imagining the impossible. Apple did not invent the phone. They simply recreated it. A, B, and B did not invent the hotel industry. They rethought about what mattered to people when they travel. Uber and Lyft did not create the taxi business. They simply redefined cab hailing. Peter Diamandis and Salim Ismail of Singularity University hold the likes of Airbnb, Uber, Orange, and other category killers, exponential organizations, exos. There are certain characteristics as captured in Salim's book, Exponential Organizations. An exponential organization is driven by a massively transformative purpose, MTP, and 5 attributes that drive the organization internally, represented by ideas, IDEAS, and 5 that focus the organization externally, identified as scale, SCALE. Ideas ensure left-brain logic that ensures internal cohesion, that guarantees order, control, and stability. Scale harnesses the right brain musical cadence that results in creativity, growth, and uncertainty. This is what both stand for. Ideas stand for interfaces, dashboard, experimentation, autonomy, and social. Scale stands for staff on demand, community and crowd, algorithms, leveraged assets, and engagement. You can read more about that in the book Exponential Organizations. If you have used your smartphone to book Uber taxi service, you realize it operates as an app. Set up your app, scale globally, and you'll be richer than Genghis Khan, and you'll be powerful without measure. Small app, downloaded from the phone, Apple Store, or Google Play. Entrepreneurship and power. John H. Johnston wrote in his autobiography, Succeeding Against the Odds, the exciting use of power when you have amassed wealth. Johnson, who ended up buying his ex-employer, Supreme Life Insurance, and was ranked the 400th wealthiest American before his death, remarked that when the money started coming in, it was coming in fast and furious. He said money was coming in so fast he didn't know how to spend it. Among his prized possessions was a Rolls Royce. He told the story how the mayor of the city of Chicago granted him dispensation against city planning regulation to open a secret gate to his palatial home, so he didn't have to make several U-turns before he could get to his house. That's the use of power when you are wealthy. When Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, wants to see a Nigerian president, he makes a phone call to Ozo Rock and the seat of power. Anytime Bill Gates visits Nigeria, his first port of call is always the presidential villa for a courtesy call. That's the use of power and wealth. When the French president, Emmanuel Macron, visited Nigeria in July 2018, he rode in the same car with Tony Elumelu when it was time to visit Fela's shrine in Ikeja, all the way from Victoria Island. My friend, if you don't know, that's how power is used when you've made it big. That is when you have become a millionaire. Tony Elumelu is a billionaire. Not too long ago, Funke Akindele, the celebrity musician, was hauled to a magistrate court for breaking COVID-19 rules and was promptly convicted. There's a difference between being a celebrity and being a millionaire. no one would have hauled Rihanna, who is worth, $600 million to a magistrate court. All the protocols in the world would have stepped in to salvage the situation. Before we round off, let's zero in on the online business millionaires. When you are a millionaire, the world's most prestigious magazines, newspapers, and TV stations will beat a path to your door. In 2013, Forbes magazine featured online business self-made millionaire Ramit Sethi next to Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha. Not to be outdone, Fortune carried a 6-page profile of Ramit a few months later. So far, in addition to Forbes, Ramit has been featured in ABC News, CNN, The Wall Street Journal, PBS, Fox Business, The New York Times, and CNBC. On his part, Brendan Burchard has been featured in Success and endorsed by Oprah as one of the most successful online trainers in history. When I started exerting efforts, news media houses started beating a path to my little necks of the woods, and I was featured on Vanguard. When you have power, more will come your way, and you can leverage the extra publicity to scale even more, reinvest in your business until you reach a point of no return. That's the sweet notion, how compounding interest works. A phenomenon Albert Einstein dubbed the eighth wonder of the world. Books you should read. Entrepreneurship is not hidden in books, but in your mind. But you need books to understand philosophies and for inspiration. Not all books are created equal, so pick the books you read very carefully. Derek Sivers has read, reviewed, and rank ordered over 200 books at sivers.org. That has changed to recently to siv.re. sive.rs. So if you want, just go there. sive.rs. If you want immediate access, just go there. You read 200 books of the best books, read, rank ordered by Derek Sivers. Whether you are just starting out on your entrepreneurship journey, or you have been there for a while and are looking for inspiration to be more, start with these 7 books. The War of Arts by Stephen Pressfield. Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel and Blake Masters. And Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield. These are the 7 books. What you should do right now. You've decided to embrace entrepreneurship. You decided to become an entrepreneur, as Jean Baptiste defined it. You know it will not be easy. You are willing to learn. You are determined to pay any price and go through the deep. You are willing to turn pro. You think big. You are fearless because you can see what awaits you at the other end. The warm hugs of those who went for it and made it to the finishing line. I have no recommendations for you, but questions. Consider the flag bearers in the various categories below and think about how their ideas came about, the pain points or incongruity they saw, and what problem they set out to solve. Do your research and share your answer in the comments section of this podcast. Talk about news. Think about Huffington Post by Arianna Huffington. How it disorganized the newspaper publishing business. News gossip. Think about Linda Ikeji. Online personal training. Think about Experts Empire or High Performance Academy or Growth Day by Brendan Burchard. Online business training. Think about IWT, I Will Teach You by Ramit Sethi. Personal tutor. Think about Tutoria by Godwin Benson. Lodging and hospitality. Think about Airbnb by Brian Chesky. Ride hailing. Think about Uber by Garrett Camp. Movies rental. Think about Netflix by Mark Randolph. Online courses. Think about Teachable by Anko Nakpal. Short conferences. Think about TED by Richard Warman. And high-end conferences. Think about WEF, the World Economic Forum by Klaus Schwab. So, to excel as an entrepreneur, your challenge is to learn to ask the right questions. Questions such as, why not? If not now, when? If not here, where? What's the best viable alternative? Dan Sullivan, the founder of Strategic Coach, once said that he had a college professor who said, answers are a dime a dozen. What's rare in this world is a really great question. What's yours? This is the end of this episode. I believe this episode has convinced you that you can succeed as an entrepreneur if only you set your mind to it. The secret to success as an entrepreneur is the willingness to challenge the status quo and offering the marketplace what it cannot do without. Keep searching for incongruities in the market, and when you find one, latch onto it. Subscribe to the channel if you find it valuable. Until the next episode, keep searching, keep doing, keep pushing until you win.